Next, on Currents News, it's still not over. President Trump's campaign attorney, Rudy Giuliani, continues the fight, laying out his case of voter fraud in Arizona. Will a new bipartisan proposal on Capitol Hill break the stalemate over a coronavirus relief bill? And on this Giving Tuesday, how you can make Christmas brighter for every boy and girl in the diocese. Plus, it's an annual tradition. The Diocese of Brooklyn's majestic Christmas tree arrives at Grand Army Plaza. The news starts right now. Good evening, I'm Christine Persichetti. President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is moving forward with claims of voter fraud in Arizona. On the same day that Joe Biden was certified the winner there, Mr. Giuliani made his case before Arizona legislators. Currents News' Jessica Easthope is here with the latest. Jess.
Christine, Rudy Giuliani met with Republican state legislators, urging them to get to the bottom of voter fraud he says took place in Arizona, specifically the two largest counties. He says poll workers there changed votes and even told people who to vote for.
This election was the subject of a conspiracy that goes back before the election, a conspiracy that was hatched by the crooked leaders of the Democratic Party.
A panel of legislators listened to Giuliani lay out election fraud he says took place not only in Arizona, but other battleground states.
It's not just Arizona that has been conned, the people of Arizona taken advantage of, and their right to vote taken away from them. It's the people of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona that we know of.
On Monday, Giuliani called in an expert to testify that the Dominion manufactured ballot machines people cast their votes on could have been subject to hacking or manipulation.
The voting systems in the U.S. and Arizona, Dominion, and several of the other machines were built to be manipulated. And as the mayor said, they've been used in elections around the world with questionable results. And we believe that these same questionable results are present in this election.
He wasn't the only one who testified. For nearly 10 hours, many others explained why they too thought Arizona's election results were possibly compromised. But a representative for Dominion said any manipulation of votes and such widespread fraud would have been impossible.
If any electronic interference had taken place, the tally reported electronically would not match the printed ballots. And in every case where we've looked at, in Georgia, all across the country, the printed ballots, the gold standard in election security, has matched the electronic tally.
Joe Biden ended up carrying Arizona by just over 10,000 votes, or 0.3% of the vote, with 11 electoral votes up for grabs. Giuliani says the American people have been robbed of their rights, urging the state to throw out the results of the election.
And if your right to vote has been taken away, so is mine. We have an illegitimate election.
Today, Attorney General Bill Barr said the Justice Department has not uncovered evidence of widespread voter fraud that would change the outcome of the election. Meanwhile, in Arizona, Joe Biden won by more than 0.1%, which, according to state law, doesn't justify an automatic recount. In addition to being declared the winner in Arizona, Monday was also the first day projected winner Joe Biden was given access to President Trump's daily intelligence briefing. Christine?
Interesting stuff. Thanks, Jess. Meanwhile, President Trump is heading to Georgia on Saturday. He'll be campaigning with Republican Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, who are facing a runoff election on January 5th. The outcome of the races will determine which party will control the Senate. Projected presidential winner Joe Biden won the state by fewer than 13,000 votes out of about 5 million cast. President Trump's special advisor on the coronavirus pandemic has resigned. Dr. Scott Atlas tweeted a photo of the resignation letter he gave to the president on Monday. In it, he says his advice was always focused on minimizing the harm the pandemic caused to people, especially the working class and poor. He joined the task force in August, but some of his statements drew criticism, including a tweet last month where he appeared to undermine the importance of face masks. Joe Biden's aides say a COVID stimulus package to help Americans is a priority on his first 100 days agenda. But a group of bipartisan senators are working to break a stimulus deadlock between the two parties before the end of this year. Karen Kaifa has more.
Joe Biden introduced a diverse team of experienced economic experts he says will chart his administration's course for the U.S. recovery.
The team I'm announcing today will play a critical role in shaping our plan for action starting on day one and move fast to revive this economy.
Those close to the president-elect say his plans for his first 100 days in office include an expansive stimulus plan. But a group of bipartisan senators who unveiled their own $908 billion proposal Tuesday say Americans need help before January 20th.
We've worked night and day throughout the Thanksgiving recess because we recognize that families all across America are struggling.
Relief measures put in place earlier in the year, like a moratorium on evictions and a federal student loan payment freeze, are set to expire within weeks, leaving millions hoping Republicans and Democrats will put aside the politics and make a deal before year's end.
Let's hope our Democratic colleagues will finally let us make law in all the enormously important areas where we do not even disagree.
The Republican leader's idea of action on COVID has been to bring partisan legislation to the floor and then demand everyone accept it.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had their first talk since the November 3rd election, though Mnuchin said it was more about the December 11th government funding deadline. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Here in New York City, older adults and people with underlying conditions are now being advised to stay home. The city's health commissioner says to avoid getting infected with COVID, they should only leave home for work or school or essential purposes like doctor's appointments. Mayor Bill de Blasio says the city's positivity rate on Tuesday was 5.7%. He says the second coronavirus wave is bearing down on us, so we have to take measures to protect those most vulnerable. Despite the pandemic, it is time to deck the halls. The Christmas season officially kicked off in the Diocese of Brooklyn today, where a beloved holiday tradition is now standing tall in the face of the virus. For the 7th year, the Diocese of Brooklyn's Christmas tree will adorn the Grand Army Plaza during the holiday season. The massive tree was delivered and set up Tuesday morning, a huge undertaking that required a whole team of people and several pieces of heavy machinery. The 35-foot-tall tree sits on top of a 5-foot-tall platform. It will be decorated with 15,000 multicolored lights. Mark STEELE organized the installation, one he thinks is needed now more than ever.
It's all about the community, being able to give back to the community, and also the fact that a lot of people won't be able to celebrate Christmas the same way or the holidays the same way. And we wanted to make sure that there was something here that people could look at, experience, and enjoy.
New and special this year, the giant nativity scene that normally sits below the tree is being replaced with a sculpture called Angels Unawares, depicting the plight of migrants and refugees. It's a replica of the one that Pope Francis blessed in St. Peter's Square. It's been touring the United States, but will be spending the holidays right here in the Diocese of Immigrants. It will eventually return to its permanent home on the Catholic University campus in 2021. The annual tree lighting will look very different this year because of the pandemic. The event happening at 5 p.m. on December 8th at Grand Army Plaza. The statue will also be blessed that night. To keep people safe, the event will not be open to the public, but it will be live streamed on netny.tv on Tuesday, December 8th, starting at 4:30 p.m. The display will remain in place until 2021. And wondering where to donate ahead of the holidays? It's Giving Tuesday, and the Tablet's Bright Christmas campaign is just the place. In just a few minutes, we'll sit down with the paper's editor-in-chief to explain how you can make sure every child in the Diocese of Brooklyn gets a gift this Christmas. Pope Francis has appointed a new bishop of Buffalo. Auxiliary Bishop Michael William Fisher of the Archdiocese of Washington will become the 15th bishop of the Diocese of Buffalo. Fisher says he's grateful to the Holy Father for this gift to serve the people of Buffalo and eager to become a part of this vibrant faith community.
One thing you should know about me is that I am a parish priest in my heart and at my very core. That's what I bring. Since my ordination, all I wanted to do was to be a pastor. I love everything about being a pastor.
The 62-year-old bishop will take over from Bishop Edward Scharfenberger, who acted as apostolic administrator after the resignation of Bishop Richard Malone. Malone stepped down in December of 2019 after mounting allegations of clergy abuse in Buffalo came to light. Bishop Fisher will be installed on January 15th with Cardinal Timothy Dolan presiding. There's a lot more news headed your way. How faith may be found in the youngest of us. The story of a Brooklyn family and how the kids brought their parents back to church. Plus, a church victory. French bishops go to court to fight COVID mass restrictions and win. We'll speak with one of those bishops. And the preteen who has made it her mission to spread joy to families in need this Christmas.
Now you can help us put your faith in the news. The next time you capture a newsworthy event, send us your pictures or video. It's easy. Go to netny.tv/send us, and you may see your submission on Currents News.
A Pew Research Center study finds that kids, while most likely to be the same religion as their parents, are not as religious. But Currents News' Emily Druby spoke with one family in Bensonhurst where the opposite is true. In fact, the kids brought the parents back to the Catholic Church.
Left hand, right? Right hand.
Sally Montalvo receiving a corsage. Soon she'll be receiving something even more special, grace. Sally is being confirmed at St. Dominic's Church in Bensonhurst.
A happy but nervous kind of feeling.
She's the third child in the Montalvo clan to be confirmed. A family with strong faith, but it wasn't always that way.
My children brought me deeper into my faith.
Faith, like genes, it tends to run in families. A Pew survey found Catholic parents create Catholic children, Protestant parents create Protestant children, and so on and so on. Pew found 81% of practicing Catholic parents will have kids that are too, but that same study found children to be far less religious. In fact, 19% less religious than their parents. That's not the case for the Montalvos. Anthony says his kids are actually the reason the family deepened their faith.
They were attending a program here at St. Dominic's with the youth ministry, and they had asked for volunteers during Mass one time, and I thought, well, maybe I could help out, 1 or 2 days a week.
1 or 2 days quickly grew into more.
And that turned into going to a retreat, and that turned into wanting to do more, wanting to know more, and wanting to live my faith deeper.
Now together as a family, their faith has grown.
A family that stays together, prays together.
And that faith continues to grow.
I've had my communion, I had my confession, I've had confirmation, and now it's the little one's turn.
A point of pride for House Matriarch Dawn Sidoti.
I really believe that they are stronger than me. It makes me proud for all of them, including their father.
The Montalvo showing sometimes faith comes from the youngest. In Bensonhurst, Emily Druby, Currents News.
A big win for French bishops who went to court to fight COVID mass restrictions. Because of France's strict second lockdown, churches there were closed since the beginning of November. Just last week, President Emmanuel Macron announced they could open again, but with just 30 people per church. The bishop said that limit on public masses during Advent was unacceptable and argued it infringed on their freedom of worship. One of the French bishops who spoke out about the mass restrictions there was the Bishop of Nanterre. Bishop MATTHIEU ROUGE joins us now to talk about it. And Bishop, we feel your pain. The Diocese of Brooklyn also had to go to court to fight mass restrictions. In France, there was a 30-person limit on attendance. You called it absurd. Why did you feel that way, and what's the latest situation?
We fought, unfortunately, in court so that the government has to rewrite the decision. It's not still done. It is being done right now. And I hope we will have at least 30%, but it is not sure. It has been quite tough, and I don't understand why. Because with the president, the prime minister, we had good discussions, and we explained just the number 30 has no sense, and everybody agreed on that. All kind of politicians and some inside the administration told that to me. It's absurd, but hence it was the way it went. So we had this decision in the court asking the government to rewrite the decision, and instead of having a number, having a proportion.
All right, yeah, that would make sense depending on the size of the church. I mean, it was hard enough to get people back into church with fears of the virus and of terrorism. You know, the attack in Nice was just over a month ago, and that's got to instill fear in parishioners. How are things going, and what are parishes doing so their parishioners feel safe?
I don't feel fear among parishioners related to terrorism. Okay. Of course, we are conscious times are difficult for big gatherings, but unfortunately, we don't have some in this moment. For big gatherings, we have people who welcome the people and be sure everything's going on in a good way. But the reason why, at the end of the first lockdown, all the people were not back in church, I guess some were afraid of the disease, some were afraid of being too fragile, some were indeed too fragile to come back, but I would say terrorism is not the main question today.
Talk a little bit about the response after the attack in Nice. There was a lot of anger, but not among everyone. Talk about the differences in the reactions of Catholics and non-believers.
Among Christians, the response was prayer and peace. Some non-believers were very angry, and it was also the occasion, and that's important for a country to reflect on the way to answer in a stronger manner to the terrorism and what is the cause of terrorism. And that's really an important topic in France today. But among the believers, the main and first answer was prayer and peace. And I think this is good.
Yeah, and after another horrific attack, the beheading of the school teacher outside of Paris, many gathered at the memorial site of Father Jacques Hamel, the French priest who was also murdered by Islamic terrorists in 2016. Why do you think that was the case?
Well, the murder of Father Hamel is a very touching memory for our country and for our church. And each year, at the date of his death, there's some sort of memorial in his parish. And the Prime Minister was there, and the Bishop was there, of course. But I think what we keep of Father Hamel is the memory of a simple, old, and dedicated priest. And that's the main memory we keep. He died in a terrorist attack, that's true, but he's some sort of expression of the deep French Catholicism in these difficult times of secularity, of terrorism, but still he's a witness of a faithful involvement in faith, and that's the most important for us.
I'm sure a sense of comfort for many. Bishop Matthhieu ROUGE from Nanterre, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Still to come on Currents News on this Giving Tuesday, how you can make sure every child in the Diocese of Brooklyn has a present under the Christmas tree. And we'll meet the 12-year-old who truly understands the spirit of the season. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. It's Giving Tuesday, a day to give back and support the causes near and dear to your heart. And what better place to give this year than to the tablet's Bright Christmas? The campaign helps parishes and organizations give gifts to kids whose families struggle to do the same. The tablet's editor-in-chief, Jorge Dominguez, is here to talk all about it. And Jorge, everything has changed this year, but the tablet is determined to keep Christmas the same. And that means a gift under the tree for every child. That's what you always say, right?
Yes, especially this year. Christmas is joy and hope. We needed that more than ever. So please help us help people celebrate Christmas. For me, this is a very personal thing. I grew up in a country where Christmas was banned by the government, and we have a little Christmas celebration always at home. But we knew that a lot of people were not celebrating Christmas. I want everybody to be able to celebrate Christmas.
Absolutely. It means a lot. Let's hear from some of the recipients of Bright Christmas about where these donations are going.
We've been able to take adequate amount of funds and given Christmas gifts to each child. Last year we actually gave a $10 Amazon gift card to each child with a personalized note, and each child was overjoyed just to simply get that card.
We might be able to cover a Metro card for someone who started working at a job, or we might be able to buy special books or equipment for someone who started a new job that needs those items. So the Bright Christmas campaign really helps us provide for people who are working to get back on their feet and get out in the community.
So we're 2 weeks in. Where do we stand right now?
Well, we just have $500.
It's a start.
It's a start. And our goal this year is $110,000. By the way, we don't doubt in the generosity of our readers. They always respond. What I want to say is we need the money now because we want to send that money to the parishes and the programs before Christmas.
Absolutely. And, you know, we have a lot of work to do, but it is Giving Tuesday. So tell everybody at home how they can donate.
Well, if you want to donate to the campaign, it's very easy. You just have to write a check and send it to me, Editor-in-Chief Jorge Dominguez, the Tablet Bright Christmas Campaign, 1712 10th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11215. Or you can go to our website and just click on Bright Christmas Campaign.
So nice and easy. Jorge Dominguez, Editor-in-Chief of the Tablet, thanks for being with us, and we'll check back in with you.
Thank you for having me.
'Tis the season for giving, and while children normally ask for toys for Christmas, one girl in Virginia is asking to give toys for the holiday. Julio Avila introduces us to her and shares her story.
She's got brand new toys over here.
Charlotte Kirby's mission is to make sure children truly have a Merry Christmas.
It saddens me that some people don't get to experience it.
So that's why she started Charlotte's annual toy drive, providing toys for children for free.
I wanted to have a place for parents to be able to shop for their kids and not just get whatever is handed to them.
It started in West Virginia, where they lived before moving to Gloucester. It's her first toy drive here, and she's partnering with Susanna Wesley United Methodist Church.
We have an idea of how to do everything, so that's really better than just starting from nothing.
Now check it out. These are all the toys that Charlotte already received, all of these toys being donated by local people here in the community. In fact, when she did this over in West Virginia, she actually got some rather distinguishable accolades. That includes a Jefferson Award and this letter from the former governor of West Virginia.
It wasn't really about the award. I wasn't really thinking much about that. I was more of just trying to focus more of get publicity for the, not for me, but for the toy drives.
And her mom, Belinda, was helping.
I felt like her heart was in the right place with it, but I was completely shocked over the fact that she wanted it to be such a big event.
But it proved to be successful, bringing smiles and even tears to joy to parents, like a laid-off gas worker they met.
He didn't have enough money to buy Christmas presents for his kid. To see this grown man in tears saying that he didn't know how he was going to provide Christmas until that morning.
Again, that was Julio Avila reporting, and way to go, Charlotte. That is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.